Science Class 8 Crop Production and Management. So now let us see what is a crop. What do you think of a crop? Here we have already seen that the plants of same kind are planted or cultivated in a large area. So this is what is known as a crop. Simple as that. Now these crops are classified into two types, that is kharif crops and rabi crops. Kharif crops are usually sown in rainy season and they are generally from June to September. Whereas rabi crops are usually grown in winter season, that is from October to March. Now let us see the examples of kharif crops and rabi crops. Paddy, maize, soybean, groundnut, and cotton are few examples of kharif crops. Next, gram, wheat, pea, mustard, and linseed are the examples of rabi crops. Agricultural practices are listed below. So now let us see a few agricultural practices practiced by the farmers. First is preparation of the soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protection from weeds, harvesting, and storage. So if you see all these, you can just see a cycle of one crop. First, what is prepared? Soil is prepared. Then seeds are sown in it. Then manure is added to it. Then after the seeds are sown, it needs water, so irrigation is done. After the irrigation is done, few weeds are also grown along with the seeds which we have sown. So these weeds needed to be removed because all the nutrition which is supplied to the seeds which we've planted is taken up by these weeds. So there is a tough competition between the healthy plants and the weeds. So in order to protect the crop, we need to remove these weeds. After the crop is grown and completely matured, it is needed to be harvested. After harvesting, it needs to be stored. Now let us see each of these steps briefly. Before sowing the crop seeds, the soil of field is loosened and overturned. And this process is called as ploughing or tilling. So what is the need of this ploughing? Ploughing generally causes the ventilation of soil, that is, it makes the soil more porous. So the soil is like this initially, but after tilling, it becomes loosened so that more air spaces are created and more water can seep into the soil and reach the seeds. And also the humus which is over the top layers goes into the several layers below it and makes the soil fertile. These are the few causes or reasons of ploughing. And it also enables the growth of small organisms living in it, maybe earthworms, etc. Coming to plough. Plough is usually a small device or an agricultural tool. A large farming implement with one or more blades fixed in a frame used to turn over and cut furrows in soil is called a plough. It is usually like this. Okay, here is the soil. Okay, here is the soil. And it is usually made to run through the soil so that more air spaces can be created and furrows are cut through this blade. Plough may be made of only wood, wood and iron, or iron only. Next, plowshare. The main cutting blade of the plow. So this part is called this plowshare. Hoe. A tool which is used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. So the hoe is usually used to remove the weeds and to loosen the soil. Next we have loosen the soil, soil is prepared. Now sowing of the seeds take place. So when seeds are sown at the right depth and distances, they provide a healthy yield. Or else there would be a tough competition for the nutrients and so on. After selecting healthy seeds, a good variety of seeds is sown. Seed drills are used to sow the seeds. So what do farmers do in order to select healthy seeds? They take seeds in a big drum, fill it with water, right? They fill it with water and they put some seeds over this. All the healthy seeds are sunk into the water. They move towards the bottom of the water, whereas the unhealthy seeds remain on the top. So just they drain these seeds along with the water and they dry the healthy seeds. This is the process of selecting healthy seeds. Now after the seeds are selected, they are sown in the soil, and after that, what is the next step? Adding of fertilizers and manure. Yes, organic manure and fertilizers must be used to replenish and improve the soil. With the advent of new crop varieties, the use of chemical fertilizers has skyrocketed. So fertilizers and manure are used to improve, to replenish the nutrients which are present in the soil. Next, it is said that with the advent of new crop varieties, with the invention of new crop varieties, the use of chemical fertilizers has skyrocketed. That is, the chemical fertilizers are used enormously. After sowing, we have prepared the fertilizers, and fertilizers are of two types, that is natural fertilizers, and natural fertilizers are also called organic, and artificial fertilizers are also called as inorganic fertilizers, right? So inorganic fertilizers containing nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus are known as fertilizers. They are manufactured in factories. Urea, ammonia sulfate, potash and other similar substances are few examples. You must have heard about this term, that is NPK. What does this mean? N is for nitrogen, P is for phosphorus, and K is for potassium, right? So N, P, K. These are the three main substances which are used in these chemical fertilizers. Now, we have discussed about the chemical fertilizers, but what about manure and the natural fertilizers? Here, microbes play a very important role. Microbes decompose plant and animal waste, such as cow dung, animal bones, dead leaves, dead insects, and vegetable waste to produce manure and natural products. So now you must be wondering why we are using the chemical fertilizers, although we have natural fertilizers such as manure. But due to the increasing population, this is the main reason you have to write in your exam. Due to increasing population, these chemical fertilizers are being used in order to increase the yield. In order to increase the yield and in order to increase the production, these chemical fertilizers are used. So without any further delay, let us move on to the next topic, that is irrigation. Irrigation, in our 8th class, we have 4 types of irrigation, 4 methods of irrigation, but that is by using moat, chain pump, deckley, rahat. If so, these are the old or traditional type of irrigations. These are all traditional type irrigation methods. Moat, chain pump, dekhi, rahat, which we have all seen in this picture, they are all traditional irrigation methods, and they are not usually seen during these days. During these modern days, we are seeing the sprinkler systems and drip irrigation system. Drip irrigation system is very, very essential and it is very helpful because it helps in water conservation. Sprinkler systems also play a very, very helpful and an important role because with less amount of water, more crops can be irrigated. With less amount of water, more crops can be irrigated. So these two are modern irrigation methods. Now let us see about the weed control. Weed control or protection from weeds. Weeding is the process of removing undesired and uncultivated plants known as weeds. Sorry, here it is removing undesired and uncultivated. So we did not plant them actually, but due to various circumstances, some of the seeds may have fallen accidentally onto the soil and they may have grown due to the availability of sunlight, water, nutrients, and every favorable condition. But these weeds put a tough competition for the crops which we have planted. So in order to maintain a healthy crop, we need to remove these weeds. Harvesting. This is the process of manually or mechanically cutting the matured crop. After cropping, after the crop is completed and completely matured, we need to cut the crop. And after cutting the crop, the whole crop may not be sold at a once, because you can see the the onions which are cultivated in the beginning of the year, even then in the month of December or November, we are able to get few onions, not very surplusly, but onions are available even in the months where onion is not cultivated. So how is this really possible? Because these onions are kept in some storage area. These storage areas are nothing but granaries or silos. Now let us read it properly. Storage to keep grains safe from pests and bacteria must be stored properly. Food grains are usually harvested with more moisture than required for storage. To keep grains safe from pests like rodents and insects, they are stored in silos and granaries. Please put few keywords in your mind so that you can easily answer them in your exam and get full on full. So silos is one such word, granaries is one such word. Jute bags, metal bins are used by farmers to store crops. These are used in large scale, but jute bags or metal bins are usually used by farmers where they are stored in small scale. Now, coming to animal husbandry, food is also obtained from animals that have been bred for the purpose of providing food. We get milk, chicken, I mean to say meat. Okay, by the word meat, everything comes under meat, right? So milk, eggs, fish, etc. So these all come under animal providing food. So animal husbandry is the term which is used for this. So now let us just briefly understand what is animal husbandry. Animal husbandry, it is a branch of agriculture which deals with the management of animal livestock. So the breeding of animals over a large scale is known as animal husbandry. Right? So with this we have completed our chapter crop production and management within just 20 minutes. Right? And please do like, share, comment and subscribe to ABC Learning. And please let me know what all lessons do you want in the coming up videos and stay tuned. Thank you.